everybody. Yeah, this week I'm going to talk about my preps and how did I get here and what I have been going through all this my competition preps. First of all, I would like to say that like I said, I'm one person survivor, so any of my competition preps was not easy for me. Like it was kind of the all words against me, but I always motivate myself if I can take over it, so I'm gonna be first place, but I always become second place and I keep to competing. Anyway, so I had two hardest prep of my whole athlete career. One of them was Arnold Classic Ohio 2020, and one of them was 2014 in my country, in Turkey. So when you're having any prep, you know, diet is hard, training twice or three times in a day is so hard. Also, there is another part of it, it's to stay motivated, stay happy, because it's also about all your hormones, you know. And my hardest prep in Turkey was really hard because I was getting more successful and my body shape was changing and my transformation was like really visible. And it's like, you know, like I'm obsessed about the glute muscles and my glute was changing and growing, and then the people start to see it and then they start to do humor, you know. It's like they goes like, okay, she had surgery or something like this, but it's become big deal. And then in my country they tried to disqualify me. I wasn't gonna able to compete. But after that show, people start to humiliate me in the social media. They always posted something and then they put the comment, oh, she's like this and she's like this. Like it was like all athletes in bodybuilding in Turkey, they were against me because I was going really nice. Like I was getting all the trophies. It gave me anxiety and big depression because I was fighting in my mind with the diet or this all these workouts. Also, I was fighting with this, and also I was studying and I was working at the same time. That I remember that like there was some days and I couldn't even sleep, like because I had no time. But when it's become depression, it's so hard to stand on all those things all together. But eventually I got my first place in national competition, and then I went to the European Championship. I competed in the Europe and I got top 3 or top 4. Then I was the first Turkish woman who could get that place in European Championship. And then they started to talk about something different, to blame me about something. Then I understand it will never end. As long as you get the success, there are gonna be some people trying to take you down. But when it comes from your roots, it's really hurting. But anyway, you know what, there's a funny thing. They actually forced me to get the report from the hospital, which I don't have any surgery in my butt. So that's ridiculous, right? But I had it. And I had a lot of things like this. But you know, this bodybuilding is kind of happiness sports, like, because for able to keep your all hormones up, you need to stay in like peace always, which you can have high quality muscles. And that was the hardest prep in my country. There is also a lot of like visa issues. For example, like I had my special passport, but the funny thing, I was so happy because with that passport you don't need to have a visa to fly any country. But the government brought new law, even if you have this passport you can't go anywhere without any permission. And imagine that, like I couldn't find any employee in the government to get my visa, which it was almost like my peak week. And I had it my every single Europe competition, and it was so stressful. And then once I was gonna compete in Arnold in Europe, my shape was on top. Like that shape was amazing, like perfect. I'm pretty sure like I would get first place. And then before this, like there was a expo in Turkey, so I was also like 3 days out, and I had attack from the women in that expo, and then they reported me as like I attacked them because we couldn't find the camera footage. This is also another problem, but I got like scars on my skin. I was so nervous because I was gonna compete in 3 days, but eventually I could go to Arnold Classic Europe, which I was the first Turkish woman again. I went there by myself, no team, no anybody, and then I had my friend. We were gonna compete at the same class, okay? So this is also so funny, or you can't call me like you're stupid. She called me and then she goes like, okay, you need to warm up. I said, I'm big enough, so I'm not gonna to warm up, you know? And then I told her like, okay, call me when they call you, because she was on the backstage, I was laying down. And then she goes like, okay, I will do that. And I was laying down and looking at my phone, and then I saw the live stream on IFBB. She was on stage. Imagine that she didn't call me. Like, I was laying down and I just saw my class on the stage, and I just ran to stage, but I lost the 3 point, you know, and then I became second place again. That's ridiculous. Like, I always had that kind of things, but still I keep to compete. That's how I stay motivated about the competitions. My another hardest prep was Arnold Classic Ohio 2020. It was like kind of curse. I can't explain. I want to tell you this because this is big inspiration, because that was my peak in my career. First of all, it was a decision. I have changed my federation. I left my elite pro card. And then second one, there was possibility to I can't get IFBB pro card, and I took this risk. But also I was in depression, but I never show on my social media. It was like biggest challenge to myself and my athlete career to able to come back and compete again, especially in different federation. I started to have my prep, and then I start to have like troubles. And when I want to do something really too much like this, always that kind of things happen to me. But that was like huge. I gave my word to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna have my best shape ever, which I did. I started to prep, but that prep was hard because in my country I couldn't go any gym because I'm not living in that culture, so they don't like me, or they force me to work with them and I pay them the rent, a lot of rent, but I can't deal with it because I know my words. So I had to go every day like 40 miles in day, go and drive back to home, which it takes all day, and my budget wasn't good enough because I lost everything I have about my bank account. But still I was trying to stay strong and never show the people. Also I was having so much anxiety to go to in the society in crowd, so I was like kind of stuck because I can't be in the crowd, so that's mean I can't take bus, which the gym was so far. I don't have my car, I don't have money to give to taxi every day or Uber, you know. And then I said, okay Dennis, you need to do something, right? And then I bought a motorbike, which it was so cheap and it was kind of suicide, but I had to do that. And the big problem is I didn't know how to ride a motorbike. So I said, okay, and I started to watch the videos, how can I use it or something like that. And then I just tried, and then I couldn't make it, you know. And then it was summer, it was okay. But in the traffic, it was dangerous. I could go to do my workout and my shape was getting better. And I was so committed to take this pro card because it was my challenge to myself. And then it was almost like winter. I was trying to save money to make real my dreams, you know. And my country currency is so cheap for my dreams. I have to work more and more and more. Eventually it was winter, and then competition was coming, and then people start to realize of my stories, and then they start to see how I am struggling for this sport, for my career, for my competitions. And then a lot of famous athletes in the bodybuilding industry in the world, they start to congrats me. It was big motivation for me. And even though, like, imagine that it was winter, I was like under the 0 degrees, I was riding that bike like crazy, and I was like, my body fat was so low. I can't explain, like, there was rain and I had to go to the gym, but I never stopped, because the old people was watching me, and it was big challenge. In Turkey, life is so stressful. For me, it's not my culture. It's so hard to live where you don't feel belong that place, that culture. I was feeling kind of alien, and it was hard for me. And I had almost no friends. Like, I had to do everything by myself, and I was seeing my shape and my value, but I can't get what I deserve, because like custom, because the government, because the laws, because the haters. Like, I was stuck, but sorry. I was stuck, but I was always like leading myself in my mind. Okay, Denise, like, this is gonna end, this is for your future, and then all you need to do is to show the people who you are, because behind the doors, if you don't show, maybe nobody will know what you are going through. But I wanted to show you all, to inspire you, and what happening all around the world, because like whatever I have done by myself. I was seeing all the fitness athletes, all the world fitness industry, they have like sponsorships, they have like clothes, everything, and I was like, why don't I have? Because I deserve, because I give my everything. I have never won anything if I don't deserve, and I have never wanted more than I deserve. I know my worth. So, and then I knew I need to use my social media effectively, and I knew like I need to look good, but I don't have money to buy this clothes. It's just happening last year. It's so far. You cannot know when you're gonna fall so bad. So that was my like deepest place in my whole career. And then I start to cut my gym clothes, okay? And then I take them to tailor, and I give them new shape, and then I post them videos. My shape was amazing, so nobody see my clothes, they see my shape. And then guess what happened? The people, my old followers, started telling me that like, oh, your clothes is amazing, but I just cut them. Like, you have this inside of you, you just need to push your limits, that's what did I do. If I compare myself to last year me and this year me, is like huge difference. I'm glad I had these troubles, and because it shaped me to be me today. It's not ending like this. There is a muscular development, which is famous magazine, right? They put me on their page, and then they invited me to pro qualifier in Poland. That was amazing news. Like, that gave me huge motivation. I was like, nothing happened to me, and I can take even this world. Like, I was so motivated, because it was the first step. Somebody realized my struggle. That was so meaningful to me. I said, okay, I'm gonna compete. I started to stock money to work as much as I can, but there was no time, because I was training 3 times in a day, and I was working on my computer. Then I made a campaign. Okay guys, I'm gonna go to Arnold Classic, Ohio. My plans is so cheap, and my followers helped me, which I'm so appreciated and thankful. And then I got my visa for the Poland. It was peak week, and I was so ready. And then in Germany airport, they banned my passport.
I am having issue about my visa, so I missed my flight, and I have to wait here, and I don't even know how long I have to wait. I don't have food, I don't have water, fucking my diet fucked up, and I don't even know will I able to go to competition? I mean, I have never asked why, but God, why? Why me? And I just learned that I can't go to competition. And they canceled my visa.
And then they keep me in the airport 24 hours. Like, they said, you can't go. And I'm like you imagine that the first 10 hours they didn't tell me anything. I was just stuck in the airport. Like, I just waited, and I was so hungry. I can't break my diet. I can't do anything. They didn't let me call anybody. They take my phone, and I was stuck. I had my camera, and then they said you can't go competition. Imagine my mental position in that moment. I gave everything I have, and my old bad days came through my eyes. I'm like, God, why? Like, why? First time maybe I asked, why me this time? Because I did everything perfect, you know, I give my everything. But everything happens for a reason. I posted on my Instagram, I got really big attention, and then the people learn my story and they respect me. And then in that day, when I'm stuck in the airport, I eat everything, like everything. And then I prepare to myself like, okay Dennis, there is Arnold Classic Ohio, you give all your attention this, just 1 week, you can do this. Imagine that, all in second place, and this happened, and then still you are motivated and you never stop. This is the being real athlete, because you have a goal and you committed. And I back to Turkey, like I started to prep again. My shape was amazing. I was gonna go to Arnold Classic Ohio. I'm like, okay, this time you got first place, because this shape is perfect. I couldn't buy bikini, guys, because I couldn't have that money. I made my own bikini. Every single night I put the stones like one by one, 4,000 stones, and my eyes were like teaser, but it was my proud to myself. And then everything was ready. I take plane and I fly to USA here. I had some issue in airport again, but I'm glad I could come here and I could compete in Ohio. Before I was in USA 3 days ago from the competition, and then 3 days later it was okay, like it's eventually I was going to Arnold Classic Ohio, right? And then guess what happened? One of my friends called me, oh, don't go there because competition canceled. I'm like, maybe I should die, you know, it's like maybe I shouldn't compete anymore, like maybe this is the sign from the God. But I said, okay, it cannot be happen. I'm going to fly and I'm going to take this plane today, because I was already going to airport. I was on the way. And I went there, and then I was there 2 days ago, and then guess what happened? I got sick. This is all about the mental thing. It's about because of the stress. I take over it, and then I became second place again. That's my story, guys, about my old preps. Now I'm planning to compete again. Another part of my career, I have never had a coach, because the first reason is that I was already best one in my country, so who's gonna coach me? Bikini is totally different. Except for all that, after all that things, I had some offer from the coach, but how can I explain my whole life conditions which he can coach me, you know? Because for example, he will tell me like, oh Dennis, you need to eat this, and then you shouldn't take carb this day. But if you are having so stressful days always, so you can't stand up without carb, that's impossible. So especially nighttime, I always like eating carb, but it was bad. I could manage it, but you can't tell the coach every day, oh coach, today I had this trouble, I am like this. today I had this trouble. You can, like, coach cannot do this, because if you want to coach any person, that person needs to have regular life. But my life wasn't like this. Nobody coached this lifestyle. Every single day happening something, because like you don't sleep, you always working, and you always trying to do something. This is not coachable life. I mean, of course I wanted to have a coach, but this is for my mental motivation to make me keep to do all those things. Yes, you can do this, you can do this. Everybody needs a coach, for sure. Also, I know it's so hard to stay committed in your diet, but that sentence is so real. You are what you eat. If you eat bad, anything gonna be bad about you, because I have competed 6 years non-stop, no off season. Especially last three years, I had like almost every month competition, and this is so bad for your body system. And then I'm like, because I was overtrained, I didn't even want to go to the gym and see this weight. I'm not even talking about the diet. And I'm like, okay, Dennis, you need to take off season at least 6 months, which you can miss the gym. Like you want to go to gym again, you know? Think about this quarantine time. It's actually not that bad. Anyway, I took a break. Literally, I didn't train. I didn't eat so well. I'm not saying I eat sugar, but I didn't stick on my diet. Literally, I have lost everything. That was the time I have lost my own self-confidence, my own money, everything I have. And this is my word to myself, I'm not gonna do this again. But because I'm the person who is so harsh on herself, I was treating myself like really low quality person. I was blaming myself. There was a voice in my head. For example, when I go to eat something like cookie or something like this, it was reminding me like, it was actually me. I was reminding myself, you know, the experiment, Pavlov's dog. I was feeling like this, like, oh, are you fucking dog? You don't have your willpower? How can you eat this? Like, and then I broke my all self-confidence. I did it to myself. Like, you can't do this, you need to be in diet, you need to do this, you need to do this. But this is so wrong. But now, you know what? I can't even command any dogs, because this is the thing I made to myself. This is so wrong. I was going to kitchen. You don't have your willpower. You don't have control on yourself. So why you are alive then? What is difference between you and dog? This is the treatment of myself, and it's break my old self-confidence. I couldn't even go outside. I couldn't even go from my bed. Like, that's how I am. I'm not saying this is good, but this is obsession for me. So that's how I can stay in diet all the time. So the real question is, why would anybody compete that much? That's a good question. First of all, whatever you do about all your behaviors or all your decisions is actually comes from your family, from your roots, right? Because this is your base algorithm. I was competing that much like crazy because I was trying to convince myself to my society, my people, and to my family. Because when I was little girl, my mom, she never congrats me. Like, she always wanted me to do more and more. Of course, it also comes from her insecurity, because my father left, so she wanted me to be a successful person for my future, because she always warned me, and she always pushed me about, okay, Denise, you're alone when you grow up. Nobody gonna be there for you, so you need to take care of yourself. You need to be strong. And if you want to do that kind of things, you need to start bottom. You know, you need to start earlier. I have started to work when I was 15, because that's what I had to do. My personality, real me, as like I said, wasn't in that culture. I had insecurity inside of me, because like people always trying to insult me because, oh, she's showing her body, she's showing her ass, she's like bad woman, you know. I had to do something to prove myself and convince them to, I'm not rusted person, I'm really really good person, and I'm successful, strong woman. So that's why I had to do all those things. That's why maybe I didn't stop to compete, because that was the only way I can prove myself to my family, to my parents, you know. But when you get that age, you understand that you don't need to prove yourself to anybody, because of who you are. Because that was the place and that was the time I couldn't be myself, I couldn't behave how I wish to behave. That was the big force to me to push me compete that much. Alright guys, so now you know more about my struggles, more about you know more about my old journey. I don't want to bother you, but this is small part of it. As long as I introduce myself in the long term, so you will know better, you will learn more. But this is not just about my story, this is inspiration for you. This is about what can you do even though like zero conditions. This is your abilities, this is what you are capable of. Okay, see you in next episode.